to welcome our Archbishop Silvano Tomasi, who is the permanent observer of the Holy See to the United Nations and specialized organizations in Geneva and to the World Trade Center Organization. I mean, he flew in specifically for us, and he has to fly out tomorrow. So this is a very quick trip, and I want to thank him for making time in your very, very busy schedule to be with us today. Just a bit of a background. The Most Reverend Silvano Tomasi was born in Italy, and I love that part because I was born in Italy too, and I think objective. And his formative education was both in Italy and in New York, where he studied theology and was ordained a priest for the Congregation of Missionaries of St. Charles Scalabrinians. And he holds a master's degree and a doctorate in sociology from Fordham University. Since his ordination, Archbishop Tomasi has held many important positions. Correct me if I'm wrong, Archbishop, in some of these positions that you've had. He served as Provincial Superior and Vicar General of the Congregation of Scalabrinian Missionaries, Director of Office of Pastoral Care of Migrants and Refugees. He was part of the official missions of bishops to Haiti, Sudan, Kenya, Thailand, Cambodia, and the Philippines. Secretary of the Pontifical Council for the Pastoral Care of Migrants and Itinerant People. He participated in delegations of the Holy See to multilateral conferences. He served as liaison between the Holy See and the International Catholic Migration Commission in Geneva. He also served as apostolic nuncio to Ethiopia, Eritrea, Djibouti, and as observer to the African Union. He has written articles and monographs published both in the United States and in Italy, and has been honored by the Italian government with the title of Commander of the Republic. One of the current accomplishments of our Archbishop is it's in formulation and almost on track for the establishment of the Catholic University of Ethiopia. So welcome, and he will present in the global arena the presence of the Holy See at the United Nations and international organizations.
Thank you, Angela, very much. I thought I was listening to my obituary. The task that I have been assigned is to say a few words on the role of the Holy See, the presence of the Holy See in the UN and other international organizations. And I must begin by saying that I'm very pleased and very honored to be here among you. I didn't know much about the Catholic Academy of Sciences, and I think it's a wonderful initiative, and I hope it will grow. I would like to start with a little premise. Two recent events. The Pope Benedict XVI visit to the United Nations and to Washington in the United States last year. And another interesting event last year was the delegation of the Holy See present in Oslo to sign and ratify a treaty on banning cluster bombs. These two events in different ways show that the Holy See is very much active in international life. The Pope himself is the best agent of his own diplomacy, because when the popes move from one country to another and they meet head of government and states, they advance certain values that are dear to the Catholic tradition, and the popes become the best links with governments and with the people of the different countries of the world. And then the Holy See is very much active and present in the international arena, first of all because it is the only confessional institution in the world with access to diplomatic relations, and it is involved in the development of international law and international jurisdiction. The reason for this kind of presence is that the nature of the Catholic Church is universal, as the word Catholic with a small c indicates. And also because it's a transnational organization. If we analyze it from a sociological point of view, we can see that the nature of the Catholic community, the Catholic Church, is really the best example of globalization, and anticipated, in fact, the globalization of the world and contributed to it in a very significant way. Then another argument for this kind of presence of the Church, of the Catholic community, is the fact that when the Pope is elected at the end of a conclave, he becomes immediately, he assumes an international character. But above all, I think the roots of this presence of the Holy See in international context is history. If we take a look in history, we learn how from the very beginning, the very early centuries of the history of the Church, this history that I will briefly look at in a minute is uncontested on the part of it. All kinds of forces that are present today and dominate international life. If we look at canon law, the law of the Church, we see there are two aspects that justify this presence of the Holy See. One is that the Holy See is a kind of word, code word, to say the Pope and his curia, the government, the central government of the Church. This is what the Holy See is all about. And this is what is represented in the international context. Diplomatic relations, ambassadors are accredited to the Holy See, not to the state of the Vatican or to the Catholic Church. They are accredited to this international entity, recognized as having an international juridical personality, that is the Holy See. And then, again, we are reminded in the Code of Canon Law that the Holy See, the Catholic Church, and the Apostolic See are moral person, ex ipsa ordinatione divina, because of divine law, because of divine disposition. So, one way or the other, even if it is going to be only the Pope by himself, until the end of time, there will be this kind of personality for the Holy See. So theological and canonical definition, this definition is supported by an historical and juridical condition. As the supreme authority of the Catholic Church, the Holy See finds the justification of its international status. So that's the reason why it is the Holy See, not the Catholic Church, not the Vatican State, a small state that guarantees the independence of the Pope, that is at the center of international diplomatic arrangements.